One day, I woke up and found my husband standing in front of the mirror, wearing a beautiful red dress. He looked absolutely stunning. At first, I couldn't believe my eyes. My heart skipped a beat, and I couldn't help but feel a strange mix of emotions: shock, curiosity, and even a hint of attraction. As I observed him, he carefully applied makeup to his face, ensuring that every stroke was perfect. His movements were graceful and elegant, almost feminine. I remember thinking, what is going on? But at the same time, I couldn't take my eyes off him. It was as if some invisible force was holding me in place, forcing me to watch this unfold. He continued to get dressed, slipping on a pair of high heels that I had never seen before. They fit him perfectly, accentuating his feminine figure. I tried to say something, but the words caught in my throat. I felt like I was in a dream, a surreal experience that I couldn't wake up from. As he finished getting dressed, he turned around to face me, and for a brief moment, our eyes met in the mirror. There was a look in his eyes that I couldn't quite decipher. Was it fear, excitement, or maybe a little bit of both? I learned that day that life is full of unexpected twists and turns. Sometimes, the people we love the most can surprise us in ways we never imagined. And sometimes, those surprises can be both beautiful and heartbreaking. I also learned that gender is fluid, and that we should never judge someone based on their appearance or the way they choose to express themselves. Because in the end, it's not about the dress or the makeup or the shoes. It's about who they are on the inside. And my husband, well, he's always been the most beautiful person I've ever known. As my husband finished getting dressed, he turned to face me, and for a moment, I thought I saw a glimmer of fear in his eyes. But then it was gone, replaced by a determination that I had never seen before. He took a deep breath, and with a confidence that I had never seen him possess, he walked over to me and held out his hand. "Will you come with me?" he asked, his voice steady and sure. "I want to show you something." His hand was trembling slightly, and I couldn't help but feel a wave of emotion wash over me. I took his hand in mine, feeling the warmth and the strength of his grip. "Where are we going?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. He smiled at me, and for a fleeting moment, he looked just like the man I had married all those years ago. "Just trust me," he said, before leading me out of the bedroom and down the hallway. The house was eerily quiet, as if everyone knew what was happening but was too afraid to interrupt. We passed through the living room, where our children were sleeping soundly, oblivious to the drama unfolding around them. As we made our way towards the back door, I couldn't help but wonder where he was taking me. But I knew one thing for sure: I would follow him anywhere. Finally, we reached the backyard, where the morning sun was just beginning to peek over the horizon. The dew was still on the grass, and the air was crisp and cool. My husband led me to a small gazebo in the corner of the yard, its walls adorned with colorful fabrics and sparkling jewels. He gestured for me to sit down on one of the ornate benches, and then he took a seat beside me. "This is where I come to be myself," he said softly, gazing out at the garden. "This is where I feel most comfortable in my own skin." His voice was calm and peaceful, and for the first time since he'd revealed his secret to me, I felt a sense of peace wash over me as well. We sat there in silence for what seemed like hours, but was probably only a few minutes. The sun rose higher in the sky, bathing everything in its warm, golden light. And as I watched my husband, this woman who used to be my husband, sitting beside me, I realized that I didn't care what he wore or how he chose to express himself. All that mattered was that he was happy and that I was there with him. Finally, he turned to me and took my hands in his. "I'm sorry if I've hurt you," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I never meant to keep this from you. I was afraid of losing you, of losing our family, but I should have trusted you." I squeezed his hands gently. "I'm sorry too," I said. "I was scared too, and I didn't know how to handle it. But I love you, and I want us to be together. I want our family to be together." He smiled at me, and the light in his eyes made my heart ache. "Me too," he said. "I want that more than anything." We sat there for a while longer, holding hands and watching the world around us wake up. I knew that things would never be the same between us, but I also knew that they could be different and maybe even better. We had been through so much together, and I didn't want to lose that. I wanted us to find a way to be happy, no matter what the world threw at us. As the sun reached its zenith, casting long shadows across the yard, I leaned in and kissed my husband softly on the lips. He returned the kiss, his lips gentle against mine, and for a moment, it was as if nothing had changed at all. When we finally pulled apart, I looked into his eyes and smiled. "I love you," I said, "and I'll be here for you, no matter what." He smiled back at me, the sadness in his eyes replaced by a spark of hope. "Thank you," he said. "Thank you for giving me that chance." Together, we stood up, still holding hands, and walked back into the house. The rest of the day passed in a blur of tears and laughter, of conversations about our feelings and our fears, of promises to support each other no matter what the future held. And as the sun set on that day, I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, we would face them together as a family. That night, as I lay in bed, I couldn't help but feel a sense of peace wash over me. Despite everything that had happened, I knew that I still loved my husband, this woman who used to be my husband. And I was grateful for the strength and courage it had taken for him to reveal his true self to me. Over the next few weeks, we slowly began to rebuild our lives. We went to therapy together, where we learned to communicate better and to understand each other's perspectives. We talked to our friends and family about our situation, and while some people were supportive, others struggled to accept it. But we didn't let that deter us. We focused on our love for each other and our determination to make our relationship work. As time passed, we found new ways to express our love for each other. We started spending time together in our shared interests, like gardening and cooking. We took up new hobbies, like painting and photography. And we never failed to express our gratitude for having found each other and for having the chance to build a life together. Eventually, we decided that we wanted to start a family of our own. We talked about adoption and about the possibility of using a surrogate. We knew that it wouldn't be easy, but we also knew that we were stronger together. And so, we began to explore our options and to dream about the future we wanted to create for ourselves. The road ahead wasn't going to be easy, but we had each other. And as long as we had that, we knew that we could face anything. We had come through the most difficult part of our journey, and now we were ready to start writing a new chapter in our lives, together. Thank you so much for watching till now. It means the world to have you here. This community is all about empowering each other and celebrating the incredible journeys of everyone on their path to living authentically. If you're ever feeling lost or alone, remember you have a whole family here for you. Hit that subscribe button. Smash that like button. And let's keep inspiring each other, sending you all the love and strength in the world. Until next time, live your life by your rules.